Coming up today on the Rotunda Show, 1 year after Longwood and the Farmville community were shaken by a quadruple homicide, the man charged with the brutal crimes had his day in court. We'll sit down with someone who was there to cover it all. Also, there has been a notable rise in criminal activity across Farmville that has gotten students concerned about their safety and the efforts Longwood is taking to keep them safe. Finally, the athletics department at Longwood recently took time to honor veterans of the military who have been wounded overseas as a part of their Wounded Warrior Weekend. Stay tuned for all that and more today on The Rotunda Show. Today is September 29, 2010. I'm Keenan Crump, and welcome to The Rotunda Show. We open today's broadcast with a familiar yet tragic story surrounding last year's quadruple homicide on First Avenue, where one Longwood professor and three others were murdered by then 20-year-old Sam McCroskey of Castro Valley, California. For the past year, McCroskey has been housed at the Piedmont Regional Jail in Farmville, and in a recent hearing at the Prince Edward County Courthouse, McCroskey stepped in front of a judge for the first time since June of this year. Joining me now to talk about what took place inside the courtroom last week is the news editor of the Rotunda, Corey Morris. Thank you for sitting down with us. I know you were there at the Prince Edward County Courthouse last week for the McCroskey hearing. Can you tell us a little about what took place then?
Yes, I can. Basically, what happened was McCroskey was scheduled to appear in court Monday afternoon for a motions hearing for a change of venue. But what happened was he surprised the courtroom by pleading guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of capital murder in the deaths of these 4 people.
So after over a year in jail, what's next for McCroskey?
Well, Judge Blanton of the Prince Edward County Circuit Court sentenced McCroskey to life in prison, so he will be heading to Red Onion State Penitentiary, which is in Wise County, Virginia. As for his legal team, Kerry Bowen, his defense attorney, said his client was very remorseful when he entered court on Monday, and he's very aware of his actions. Prince Edward County Commonwealth's attorney, James Ennis, said that he's pretty much going to die in prison. That's what's going to happen. He's got 2 counts of life in prison and then 2 counts with life in prison without a possibility of parole. So we're looking at a lifetime in prison for Mr. McCroskey.
Now, this was a tragic event that did garner a lot of media attention over the past year. Can you give us a sense of the mood inside the courtroom at the hearing last week?
Oh, you're definitely right, Keenan. It did garner a lot of media attention, a lot of media moguls inside the courtroom. There were some family members of the victims, Kelly, Anita Brock, and Melanie Wells. I think overall it was kind of an eerie sense in the courtroom, especially when McCroskey walked in. He had that infamous smirk on his face, as he's been known for throughout the past year. And there was some sobbing by the family members, but I think when everyone walked out of there, they had some sense of closure.
Thanks a lot, Corey, for the update.
Thank you.
We now move on to a recent string of violent events that have caused concern among students and the Longwood community about their safety and well-being on both campus and in the local area. The Rotunda Show's Chris Toby has the story.
Longwood's campus is designed to be a secure center for education and growth. Lately, however, many students have begun to question their safety in light of multiple recent attacks on and around campus.
It started September 1st, and that was at 10 p.m. With armed robbery on Park Avenue.
After the Park Avenue robbery, a student was attacked on 2nd Street and then behind the Cunningham's dormitory. The most recent attack at Grove Street Park caused a significant response due to its proximity to the new Lancer Park footbridge. An open forum was held concerning the security of campus. Students and faculty and community members were able to ask questions about these recent attacks.
We always have prided ourselves, I know Longwood has, prided ourselves on our record of campus safety. We think we're one of the safest campuses in the Commonwealth, if not the safest. But we've had some recent incidents that have caused concerns. So we wanted to get together with students, staff and faculty, with people from the town, and our chiefs of police, both from Longwood and Farmville, to talk about what we ought to be thinking about, how we ought to be acting individually and as a group.
Recently, Farmville Police and Longwood Police have enacted a mutual jurisdiction agreement for the town of Farmville.
It's led to a number of arrests. It's led to a significant amount of information gathered about people that we're still looking for, people that we're still trying to identify. So it's a sharing of resources and experiences and capabilities and knowledge and wisdom and all of that put together. That's what it takes to manage a case, cases like this.
During the forum, students also made some suggestions as to how they thought security might be improved. Some of their ideas are being taken into consideration. The Farmville and Longwood police departments also had some tips on how students could help keep themselves a little bit safer.
Aware of your surroundings. And it really doesn't matter if it's daytime, nighttime, or whatever. You need to be aware of what's going on around you.
Keep in mind that they are partly responsible to assuring their own safety.
For the Rotunda Show, I'm Christopher Toby.
Last Friday night, Longwood students rocked the block for the second straight year as a number of students, faculty, staff, and members of the Farmville community flooded Midtown Square, where local business vendors gave out free information and merchandise to all in attendance. Rock the Block 2010 also featured a live band, tasting tents, a photo chair, and even a mechanical bull for guests to try and conquer as the evening went on. Those in attendance also had the opportunity to win free prizes and giveaways. Included in that was a flat-screen television, Apple iPads, and Netflix movie subscriptions. The event lasted into the night and ended with a fireworks display over Midtown Square. The first ever Wounded Warrior Weekend recently took place at the Longwood University Athletics Complex, where members of the Longwood and Hampton-Sydney ROTC programs sponsored a weekend-long event for military veterans who have been wounded while overseas.
When the girls' soccer team took the field against Elon, they had something a little extra to play for. Their game kicked off Longwood's second annual Wounded Warrior Weekend. While they put on quite a show in the first half, the real show took place at halftime when they paid tribute to fallen service members from Longwood's community.
Tonight, we'd also like to honor the members of the Longwood family who have paid the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield. They're represented here tonight by their family members.
It's very special to me because I know several young men and women who have died in the service of their country, several, particularly some West Point graduates, but some others as well, and to honor their sons, their brothers, and probably means something special to the families who are here tonight. And so I can empathize with these families, although it's certainly not at the same level. Every death like this, every sacrifice affects lots of people, and if we're able to give them even some moments of comfort in something like this, that's a great thing.
For the Lady Lancers, the second half was more of the same, with the girls scoring nearly at will. For one wounded vet, the game and the evening had a special meaning.
I met them 2 years ago. Wounded Warriors sent me out here for their first game, and so I met Coach Steve and the girls, and I was just accepted very warmly, and we just developed a relationship, and been coming back ever since.
Sergeant Bowers was able to serve as an honorary coach to the girls. What did he think of the 6-0 shutout?
They were so great out of the back. They played extremely well. Even though they're up 5-0, they're still pushing to the ball, and I just thought they did a great job tonight.
Even after the big win, Coach Steve got his girls up bright and early the next morning to join over 150 runners for the Wounded Warrior 5K race. Some participants from the Longwood Hampton-Sydney ROTC even took 50-pound rucksacks on the track.
Get set, go! 2001, 2002.
It was between the student veterans, the Army ROTC department, the girls soccer team, and then one highly dedicated IT department lady by the name of Crystal.
The purpose of the day is mainly to raise awareness about the Wounded Warrior Project Obviously, we're raising funds as well, but the main purpose was just to spread the word about the Wounded Warrior Project and what they do. And anyone that's been severely injured, they will help them with anything they need as far as mental and physical rehabilitation.
And we coordinated all this stuff to get the equipment, the supplies, and ultimately the location, and put out a 5K race for folks to have fun, come together as a Longwood community, not just the girls soccer or Army ROTC, but to literally have the entire community come together. That was our main focus, all wrapped around the Wounded Warrior Project.
Yeah, a lot of the Longwood staff and faculty were here to support this. It's just terrific event. The Wounded Warrior is really a lot more raising awareness on our men and women who have served our liberties here and have paid a huge price for it. So when it really gets down to it, that's what it is.
But it wasn't just LU faculty and students. Many children and even a few dogs made sure to show their support.
Well, it was a long walk, and she got really excited by all the people, but she had a great time and she's obviously really tired.
Many of the runners shared Bella's sentiment, but knowing their efforts were supporting wounded warriors made the race that much easier to complete. Reporting for the Rotunda Show, I'm Christopher Toby.
In recent weeks, the Greek community here at Longwood has held their fall semester recruitment activities, which included bid day ceremonies for both sororities and fraternities. However, future changes to the recruitment process will require sororities on campus to admit new members only if their numbers drop below a certain quota, to be determined based on the total number of members in each chapter at the end of each spring semester. These new rules go in effect next fall. We end today's show with the 100th birthday celebration for the Student Government Association and the Honor Code at Longwood University. The SGA has several events planned for the campus to commemorate 100 years of student governance that began with a birthday party on Brock Commons on September 22nd. Up next for the 100-year celebration will be motivational speaker T.J. Sullivan, who will talk about student apathy on Wednesday, October 20th at 7 p.m. in Jarman Auditorium. And on Tuesday, November 2nd, University President Patrick Finnegan will host an event on honor and integrity in Jarman at 7 p.m. as well. As we end today's show, be sure to grab your copy of the Rotunda, Longwood student newspaper on newsstands today or log on to www.therotundaonline.com. We want to thank Corey Morris for joining us on today's episode, as well as you for tuning in. For everybody here at the Rotunda Show, I'm Keenan Crump saying so long, Longwood, and we'll see you next time.